Stones, Weeds, and Seeds. Why Good Instruction Sometimes Can't Take Root, Part 2, Weeds in the Soil. In the last video, we explored the first condition that creates bad soil for learning, stones in the soil. Those faulty epistemological views about learning, those stones sit beneath the surface. They shape how students interpret knowledge and what they believe learning requires. But stones stay buried. This video exposes a new, more visible type of threat to teaching and learning, weeds in the soil. Weeds in the soil are students' pedagogical beliefs about what teaching should look like, and those weeds can choke out even the best instruction. Let me introduce you to Bryce. After a few weeks in one of his college courses, Bryce came to a firm conclusion. My professor sucks. From Bryce's perspective, this judgment made perfect sense. For more than a decade, Bryce had developed a set of beliefs about what good teaching looks like. Teachers explain clearly, teachers reinforce the important material, and tests closely resemble what was covered. Bryce had thrived in that environment. But when he encountered a professor whose teaching emphasized cognitive skills such as abstraction, interpretation, evaluation, and application, Bryce interpreted the differences in the only way his beliefs allowed. He assumed the professor must be bad. In reality, the teaching was strong, but Bryce's pedagogical belief system told him that good teaching meant something different. Students developed these beliefs slowly, through thousands of classroom experiences. Over time, they form expectations about what teachers are supposed to do and what their own role as learners should be. Those expectations eventually become a mental template for teaching itself. And when professors operate outside that template, students often interpret the difference not as a shift in expectations, but as poor instruction. This is where weeds begin to grow. If epistemological views are the stones hidden beneath the soil, pedagogical beliefs are the weeds growing above it. They're easier to see. You hear them when students say things like, "The professor didn't teach this in class. This test wasn't what we studied. We're being asked to teach ourselves." From the students' perspectives, these reactions feel justified. But what they often reveal is not bad teaching. It's a clash between students' expectations about teaching and the intellectual work college actually requires. In my book, I illustrate this by showing the roles Bryce had assigned to teachers and students. Here is the role structure operating inside his belief system. In Bryce's model, the professor's role was to present the important content, reinforce the material, and assess students on what was delivered. The student's role was to observe carefully, capture what was presented, rehearse the material later, and respond to questions that closely resembled what was covered in class. At first glance, this seems reasonable, but notice what it implies. Most of the intellectual preparation happens on the instructor's side. The student's responsibility is largely to capture and reproduce what was delivered when asked to do so on an assessment. When professors instead design learning experiences that require interpretation, application, and transformation, students operating from Bryce's belief system feel blindsided. The weeds have already taken root. This is why good teaching can sometimes look like bad teaching and culminate in dreadful course evaluations. Instructional nutrients may be present, but when the soil is filled with weeds, those nutrients struggle to reach the roots of learning. Faculty end up reteaching content that was never the real problem. Learning assistance professionals try to repair study habits without addressing the beliefs driving those habits. Students work harder and harder, yet learning does not improve proportionally because the soil itself hasn't changed. Stones beneath the soil distort how students understand learning. That's epistemology. Weeds above the soil distort how they interpret teaching. That's pedagogy. And together, those conditions prevent even strong instruction from taking root. You may have heard the saying, "Sticks and stones may break bones," but in academic soil, faulty pedagogical beliefs grow weeds that choke the seeds of learning.